Hi, my name is Craig Lindell and I'm the owner of Advanced Overhead Storage. We're a professional rack installation service, been in business for over 12 years. I've personally installed over 10,000 racks over the last 12 years. Now, we'll install any rack, any brand, any size for just $99. There's about 10 brands that you can choose from, and we're going to review those right here in just a moment. See, over the 12 years when I was installing, I'd run into other products that were already installed in the garage, and every time I did, I'd pull out my video camera. So what I'm going to show you here is 12 years of video clips of me reaching up on these racks and giving them a shake and a pull and just kind of see how strong they are. And I got to tell you, I wasn't very impressed. So I'm going to share those video clips with you here today, and you decide which of these racks you want to buy. At the end of the video, I'm going to show you the rack that I designed called Topp Rax. It's the only rack that has an anti-shake design, and I think it's a lot stronger than all the other products out there. But if you do want to buy one of these other companies' racks, for example, if you want to go through a magazine ad, here's one for $329 for their 4x8 rack. If you call them and have them install it, you'll pay $329. If you want that rack installed, call us. We'll install it for $269. We'll save you $60. And here's how. You can buy their rack for $170 on their website, but they charge $159 to install it for a total of $329. If you buy the rack for $170, we'll install it for just $99, and that saves you the $60. But I don't recommend any of these racks. Watch the video, you decide which one you like. About 80% of all overhead storage is made out of a product called boltless shelving. This is an existing shelving system that's been around for over 50 years. It's very strong, and the load ratings are based on an equally distributed load. In other words, the wood deck sits on the front and side frames equally. As you can see when you hang them from the ceiling, they're very strong and very stable. Now, they come with 3 cross-tie supports, but most companies decide to just use one, which creates weak points. Then they replace the wood deck with what's called a pallet rack deck from the warehouse industry. These decks overhang the front and back of the frame, but they don't actually sit on the 4-foot side frames. You can see here, there's no support. So if there's no load on the side frame, where'd all that load go? Well, it goes to the front frame, and now it has to hold double the load. And with that missing cross-tie support, you can see the frame will twist and easily collapse. Here's brand 1. Here's brand number 2. And the shaky number 3. Now here's brand number 4, also made out of modified boltless shelving. This is a national brand sold by Costco as well as Home Depot. Now they claim this rack is the strongest overhead storage solution available, but they've made some additional reductions in the frame. Just like the others, they only put 1 cross support. They actually have holes where the other ones are supposed to go. They use the same pallet rack deck that overhangs and is not connected. It doesn't sit on the 4-foot frame, so the load's not distributed. They took out 60% of the channel supports in the deck. They took out a 1/4 inch out of the edge of the frame all the way around. They reduced the 4-foot frames down to 16 gauge, and they took out 25% of the vertical posts. The result of all these modifications is decks that are very, very saggy, frames that twist under their utility hooks. That's not good. And of course, this happens. Personally, I think the big box stores should be ashamed to sell these type of products. Here's brand number 5 using modified boltless shelving, also sold by the big box stores. They also use the overhanging wire decks, but they took the channel supports out of the deck, and now they just sit in these slots very loose and rattly. And none of these are connected. Plus they use a really thin gauge wire on their decks. The result is very, very shaky. And look at this, the deck fell right through. So avoid anything with an overhanging wire deck. Here's a rack using very flexible sheet metal boards for their decking, and they're attached with these screws that are exposed on the bottom. Very dangerous. And not very strong.
The next one's bent, and the next one's bent.
Now this rack is not made out of modified boltless shelving. This is specifically designed out of angle iron frames bolted together, legs clipped onto the side rather than over in the corner, and supposedly it's more stable.
Wow.
After this customer had us replace it, we took this rack home and we did some testing of our own. Unbelievable. Now, I know I've been gaining weight, but come on. Really? Let's watch that again in slow-mo. I just tried to do a pull-up. Okay, rack number 8. Notice this has 6 legs on it. This is made out of these panels, and they bolt the panels together and then hang them from the ceiling. They say it's a more sturdy and stable design, but you decide yourself. Here's rack number 9 using square tubing for their down posts. The frame's pretty strong, but it still shakes. And finally, rack number 10. This comes in a little 4x4, and I call it the trapeze rack. A couple of bars hanging, put a deck on it, and you got overhead storage. Amazing. That was quite entertaining, wasn't it? Now, let me show you the rack that I designed called Topp Rax, and you decide which one you think's the better product. When I designed Topp Rax, I realized 80% of all the installations are against the wall. Our competitors hang the racks just away from the wall to make room for that overhanging wire deck, and the result is you have a very shaky and unstable system. So I designed my rack to attach directly to the wall studs using these special clips. After all, your wall's not going to move, so neither will the rack. Now, other companies use one support in the middle. I put all 3 supports in, so it's a stronger frame. Then instead of pallet rack decks, we use a flat panel deck made out of triple wire construction. We bolt this down to the top of the frame so it doesn't move, and we put it in the corner so there's equal support on all sides, so you have an equally distributed load. The decks are fully supported and reinforced. There's no sag. The frame won't collapse like the other ones. It's so strong you can stomp on it. Very strong. I can pull up, I can shake on it. It won't shake at all. Now I realize there's no reason that you're ever going to do pull-ups on your rack or swing on your rack like this, but I do it just to demonstrate how strong the rack is. Look at this. I weigh 200 pounds, and that rack isn't moving a fraction of an inch. Now doesn't that give you peace of mind when you put your storage on something that isn't going to move and shake, especially in an earthquake? That's strong. And even if you hang these racks in the center of the garage, our anti-shake design keeps it from shaking back and forth. These are the most versatile racks you can buy. We can install them anywhere. We can even overhang soffits in the ceiling. And if you put your rack in an L-shaped configuration, other companies have a post blocking your access to the corner. We don't need that post. We can connect our frames together, giving you easy access to the back. These are connectable in any size to any size. 4x8s to 4x8s. Here's a 4x8 and 4x4. 4x8 and 2x8. Here's a U-shape, 8s and 4, over the garage door. And we even have bike and utility hooks. So if you're feeling special, call our competitor and pay $329 for this shaky 600-pound rack. Or call us and we'll put in our 600-pound rack for $50 less. That's right, just $279 installed for our 600 and $299 for our 1,000-pound capacity. You can put a whole lot of storage on these racks. Thanks for watching, and we hope to hear from you soon.